I'm Samantha Randall, as Lynn said. I teach at South Shore Fine Arts Academy in an early childhood special education classroom, which consists of 3 and 4-year-olds with varying exceptionalities. And I am an NBCT. Last year was hectic for me. It was my 6th year teaching at Fermi Elementary School, and it began with the teacher's strike, as it did for all of us. And then seeing Fermi on the school closing list, then attending countless community forums, and finally feeling the emotional turmoil that accompanies watching the only school I'd ever taught at close right before my eyes. They literally packed up my classroom while I still had students. And in case this wasn't enough stress, I was working on my national board portfolio the entire time. But honestly, it was working on my portfolio and going through the support program that got me through the year. It grounded me. It forced me to focus on my students above all else. It took my mind away from worrying about the contract, or school closing, or our pension woes. It kept me committed to the task at hand, and for that I'm grateful, because becoming a National Board Certified Teacher has completely changed the way I reflect on my practice and continually improve my teaching. I'm now much more focused on understanding how my students are learning instead of just what they are learning. In the past, when someone would ask me why I had Kenneth, a 3-year-old with autism, wear a weighted vest for certain activities, I would respond with, because it helps calm him down. And that was really the best answer I could give you. Now, with my commitment to understanding why my students learn and act the way they do, I am continually researching and collaborating with colleagues to seek out new information. Since going through all the professional development and living the MBPTS standards for over a year, I can now respond with, a weighted vest activates the receptors located in his core muscles that provide input to his proprioceptive system, which then impacts neurotransmitters in the brain, which ultimately help Kenneth attend to the task. Led me to having a better understanding of the sensory processing issues and how to help my students overcome them. And if you've ever had a student with sensory processing deficits, you know how detrimental they are to their learning and the learning of everyone else in the classroom. As a direct result of my commitment to following the National Board's 5 core propositions, my students have made tremendous growth in this area and in many other areas. Although this growth can't be measured by any standardized test or district assessment, but that's a topic for a different time. Now this process was challenging. I mean, 20 drafts of a 15-page entry where you talk about one single student challenging, and that's just one section of the portfolio. The most I ever had to write about one single student before was an IEP, and that's mostly fill in the blank. Earning my master's degree in special education and autism wasn't even this difficult. But this process has opened my eyes to just how complex and unique each of my 3-year-olds are, and how important and beneficial it is to tailor my instructional decisions to some aspect of what I know about them, particularly their interests, strengths, talents, and needs. It's a much more purposeful way of teaching, and their growth tells me it's working. I met so many wonderful teachers through a National Board Support Program who are equally passionate about educating their students that it was worth the challenging work. I might not miss the countless hours of writing new drafts of my portfolio, but I do miss our in-depth